There you go.
Welcome to the G Spot.
It's the G Spot, baby.
Where you either grow
or you got to go.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Good evening. Well, we are here tonight with a special edition, by popular demand edition of the G Spot. So we're going to veer off our 6-week series and address a hot topic right now in pop culture, which is the Russell versus Future phenomenon, if I should say. And we're going to pull out two different issues that we found. One being women not knowing how to properly choose, or we wait until we've been drugged down the road by, the bad boys, and then we want to go and find us a Russell, a nice guy. So we're gonna dive into that. And then we'll talk about some of the backlash that we saw with people saying Russell was a simp, and he doing too much with loving this woman and all that good stuff. So we're gonna talk about that. But before we get into it, we live, y'all. This is live today.
They get nervous.
It's live. It's all the way live.
They get nervous.
It's all the way live.
That's how you know some bull about to happen. That's how you know.
So the first thing I would like to address on a serious note is last week we had the brothers tell their stories. And I was kind of alarmed by some of the feedback that we received in reference to one of the guys that was on the show. There was an assumption that I was making a joke about a guy's story, in which it was really just entertainment for the show. However, later on in the show, once the other guy started talking, there were men that were actually calling him weak. They were calling him different names because, from what I could see, he did the stand-up thing. He got 2 jobs and went to school to provide for his family. And there was, I think that we have to caution ourselves when, you're telling me as a woman to, make sure that I'm not creating an unsafe place for men to be able to open up and be vulnerable as a woman. Don't pick at a man's pain. And I totally get that. And that was definitely not what it was. But then as the men to turn around and do it to each other, that is an even more harsh message for us to send, from one man to another. Yeah. I would think that you guys would embrace each other. So I just wanted to address that, which kind of, brings us to the situation, even with this whole Russell, and some of the men saying, he's simping, whatever that is supposed to mean, about him, just caring for his wife properly. So I just thought that we needed to really address that. And the guy who was here, his name was Todd. And I just want to make sure that, culturally and on a community level, we are having communications that are building each other and not tearing each other down, because ultimately that's what this is about. Absolutely. We're here to rebuild what's been torn down and build some things that need to come up, So I just wanted to say that that we just want to make sure that we're always we can address ourselves, we can address, have our points and have our opinions, but to make sure that, they are empowering and inspiring us here as well as, our viewers. So I just wanted to make sure I address that and send our love to Todd.
Yes.
He's not dead.
Seriously.
We love you, Todd.
He's shut in. He's just
okay. So we are going to go ahead, you horrible. We just said we're not doing that. But anyhow, I just can't with y'all. It's about to go down.
Yeah.
Round 1.
Let's get it.
Round one, we
Get
about
it,
to
let's
make this thing happen up in here. Y'all ready?
We ready.
Let's get it.
Ready.
You got your you say you need
Hey
the
man,
bell
you
again?
hesitating, man. Come on with it. Come on. All that small
You
talk,
need
man.
the bell
Come on
again,
with it.
honey. So what
Come
I
on
need
with
for
it.
you guys to do on this live, anybody that's on the live, I need y'all to go ahead over into DISCO100 Radio on YouTube,
Hey man, they
because my live is about to end
they
right
pump
about
fake
now.
it. They pump fake it.
So I need y'all to go ahead and in your lives and meet us at Disco 100 Radio.
Okay, come on.
All right.
Meet
So,
us there.
so we're gonna go over here to my left.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we're
Okay,
gonna
we're
go over here to the left
first.
side. And we're gonna address
Did you want to give it to me? Okay.
we're gonna go with
Y'all
Stennard then. The lady is first, but she passed the mic, so I'm gonna give it
All
to
right.
you. So we're gonna address the first issue of the phenomenon of Future versus Russell, where I guess we are assuming that women prefer bad boys, and we get drugged down 285
They're 90.
by the bad
I don't
boys,
think it's-
95, 285, like all the way from Miami to Atlanta, basically.
I don't think it's more so of your maturity level. Once your maturity level hits a certain area in your life, you don't look at things the same. So by you not looking at things the same, this individual that came into your life, he had a potential to take you other places that you didn't necessarily go while you were dealing with, so to say, the bad boy. But we don't all know what's behind the scene, because there's always other things that's going on in the household that we don't know that causes the breakups. It's not necessarily the woman is always the wrong or the guy's always the wrong. But at some particular point in time, Sierra had to be able to compromise. He had to be able to compromise, because two worlds clashing, coming together, it's really going to be chaotic at first. But at some point, she decided that she was going to stay there and weather it out instead of being on the run type situation.
Okay.
Now, Future, he may be a great guy. You know, we don't know that. So we can't stigmatize him and say, well, he's just a bad boy, bad boy, bad boy, because he has 11 kids. Okay. If you want to take that particular point, you know, he take care of his kids. There's no confusion and no complaint about that. But the thing is that we cannot sit here and we cannot just judge him and say, well, he's a bad boy. Now, understand, you're in the industry, you have a certain standard that you got to put out there when you put your music out there. So you have to act a certain way. But behind closed doors, again, he may be acting a total different way. So we don't know that. Also, tolerancy. You may not tolerate something, but somebody else is going to tolerate it very well. So that's the way that I look at that.
Well, I beg to differ.
Give it to me.
Okay, because with Future, you know, the fact that he has 11 kids, that's a sign of a man that likes to play the field with different women. But of course, you wouldn't see that because you're a man yourself. But I'm just
Shots
saying,
fired.
I mean, hey,
Give it to him.
hey. So for me and for most women out, and I know you don't like that word, but I'm gonna have to say it. For me and for most women, when we hear that a man has multiple kids and multiple baby mamas, that's already a sign for us that he's a player.
Yeah.
Okay? So that's my point on that, to piggyback off of what
But-
go ahead.
It may not be a situation where he's being a player. It just may be a situation that every relationship that he go with, he may get stuck with a child. Because we all have unprotected sex. Now, in the industry that he's in, look at the situation where he's paying child support. So don't make it seem like there's women out here that don't take advantage of his celebrity status
Yeah,
to get a kid.
I agree, but at some point, you have to make a decision that let me strap up because I don't want to have all these kids out. Not to mention all of the diseases that are out here. You know, you have HIV that most people are living with today, but it's out here. Not to mention you have herpes out here that you can't get rid of it no matter what. So, I mean, at some point, when do you decide to say, hey, because a woman can't force you to make a baby with them. If you strap up and make sure that you protect it, then that eliminates them from having a child. So he wanted it. Mm-hmm. In my eyes, that's how I see it. But we haven't gotten to your side yet. Let me finish. Okay. So, but on the Sierra side, and I can relate to her a lot because she went through a few bad apples, and I'm gonna say apples. I'm not gonna say she was drugged down the road. She went through a few bad apples before she made a decision to pick differently. If you understand what I'm saying,
Yeah.
She decided that I'm gonna go after a different man,
Yeah.
different style man, a different altogether, and that's when she got Russell. Okay, and to me, that was the best decision she ever made in her entire life. But hey, that's just my opinion. Okay. But most women are out here doing this. Okay. Because I was one. So we go after this bad boy image. And then we realize this ain't all what it cracked out to be. And clearly we saw that over the years of her being with Future, with him cheating and coming back and saying, hey, I'm not going to cheat. That's why I don't know why Stennard was able to say what he said.
Already?
Lord,
Already?
we got a caller.
Well, we got a call.
Get it.
So
Oh God.
Good. That's okay. It's
yeah,
all right.
we hung up by
Call
mistake.
back, brother. They
Call
actually
back.
hung up.
So you have a lot of women out here that are making these bad decisions. You know, they're choosing the wrong guy. Because again, I said this before, I'm gonna say it again. We see signs early on,
Thank you.
but we choose not to pay attention to those signs.
He got something to say.
They really got
You're
something
one of
to
the
say.
few women that will admit that.
Really?
That
No.
these signs.
Oh,
Thank
wait.
you.
But it took time. It took time for me to get there. Hi, caller.
Hey,
Is that Tony Trotter?
Hey,
What you got for us, caller?
I just want to address the brother in regard to what Future was. Come on, bro. We don't know if he's a player. After like 3 kids,
come on.
I would probably say, yeah, he was. Now, how he treats his kids is one thing,
Right.
but who he is who he is.
I said the same thing.
And what I'm saying
I
is,
said the same thing.
that's a player attitude.
Yes.
That's
11 kids?
After
not
3 kids?
Let him finish.
It's those,
No, because you
Oh, shit, he said 3.
because the sister said, right, at what point did you say, I'm going to take responsibility for my actions? Because
Okay.
let's give an example. And I'm just going to go back old school. We all grew up on Cosby shows. Now, Bill Cosby on the show, I don't know about his personal life, but on the show, would have had multiple kids. And this week, this daughter came over, and next week, this daughter came over. And if we looked at Bill Cosby, because we called him what? America's Dad.
America's dad.
Yes.
America's Dad, he made sure his family was whole up under that household.
Mm.
So for us to sit here and look at Future and say he's not a player, come on, bruh.
Right.
All right, hold on.
Right.
Hold on. I've been quiet long enough. Listen, man. listen.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you for confirming what I said. Thank you.
Halle Berry just said in the interview, she was questioned and said that she couldn't keep a man. And she said, how you know I want to keep
He
him?
want to keep her.
So with that being the case, just because bro want to have multiple kids don't mean he a player. He want to have, that's his choice, to have multiple kids. We can't condemn a person because
From
that's what
different baby mamas.
Hey, listen, that's
Okay.
his choice. He might want all his kids look different. I'm just saying we can't
But-
condemn him. Wait, hold on. We can't speak. We can't speak
Where's
to
the
ask
bill?
why. We can't speak to ask why he did it, but because he chose to do it, we can't add a negative connotation to his name.
Thank you, Tony, for calling in. Thank you, Tony.
You were awesome,
Thank you,
Tony.
Tony.
I think it's more so of that we're sitting here as a judgmental
Wrong
in a
answer.
judgmental position, because again, we don't know the dynamics of his relationship. How do you know if those 11 women didn't just agree to have kids? Surrogate parents.
Agreed or not agreed, a man that's out there having multiple kids like that, you're a player. Some of those kids are right behind each other. Some of them are pretty much the same age.
Let's
Okay,
get to the
so
other
let's-
side of the table. Let's get to the other side. Of the
Okay,
table.
we're gonna get to the other side. Go ahead and get to the other side.
So
Go ahead.
Go ahead,
you were
guys.
finished and then Miss Kim, and then
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead,
Go
guys.
ahead. I said about
No, go ahead. It's your turn.
I turned, but I said him out full. But I might have something to compliment her.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, I want to actually speak on what Stennard was talking about. He actually said something as far as like him being a bad guy. I mean, he don't necessarily have to be well, as far as because he has kids. You were saying that because he has kids, that does not mean that he's necessarily a bad guy. Okay. For me, I look at actions. Okay. And just not too long ago, he actually did an interview insinuating that he would not date, for one, any woman that was in the industry. Okay, understandable. But he also said that he wouldn't date a regular woman. He would date a regular woman, but however, he's not going to sit and basically spend his money on her. She has to come to the table. He's not going to be spending his money on that particular woman. So what is it that you want? Like, you got to look at what type of guy this is, what the guy is actually saying out of his mouth. So I mean, it goes back to, I mean, I wouldn't say a bad guy, but he's definitely not the right guy.
But if that's his choice, you can't take choice away from a person. You gotta understand.
I agree. That is his choice.
If it's his choice to have kids in that manner, and you lay down and you agree to it, what does that make you?
I definitely.
That doesn't necessarily make you a good woman. See, there's
Wait,
the thing right
but then
there.
that goes back to the woman getting in a relationship for the wrong reasons.
Okay, so let me take it back to the original premise on do women choose bad guys, get drugged, and then choose a Russell Wilson?
Yes.
That's what she did.
Yes.
Okay, let's just put that on the table because
Okay.
last week when men explained their rationale for making their decision, it was called excuses. This week, because the subject matter is a woman, now we want to patty cake the issue. Okay, that's hypocrisy number one. But here's my thing, and I'm gonna take the same position that I made last week. That's what she did, but I don't fault her for that because again, she was young, and sometimes youth and wisdom don't come at the same time. So I don't fault her for making those poor decisions earlier on,
Right.
and I'm gonna applaud her for making a better decision
Right.
later on. But let's not fabricate the reality that women do choose, and I'm not gonna say because I don't want to get caught up in demonizing Future as a bad boy or anything like that.
Right.
But what she chose was an unhealthy relationship
Yes.
Correct.
in the form of what many perceive to be a bad boy. And a lot of people will do that. So I don't want to get caught up in us because I don't think it's fair because we don't know the brother to call him a bad person, but we can't say he made a lot of bad choices because having
That's
11
correct.
kids, and let me explain to you why. Oh, this is real easy because when you have children, if you made the best decision for those children, you make them according to the resources you have to raise them properly.
Right.
We know as an entertainer, the one resource he's lacking a lot of is time. And
Right.
you can't
Hallelujah.
tell me,
Right.
you can't tell me
Hallelujah.
11 kids spread out that he could be an effective father with a presence in their life and
That's it.
interaction that allows him the best opportunity to flourish with his male influence.
Right.
You can't, it's hard enough for us to do that with one child. It's hard enough for us to do
Exactly.
that with two children. Now you're going to spread 11 all out.
He said he wanted to leave his legacy.
He left it.
That's not the best decision for those children because if you think I'm wrong, ask those children. I guarantee you they'll agree that they wish they had more time with their father.
Right.
Absolutely.
All right.
And
All right.
that was
Absolutely
you
agree.
just said what I was gonna say.
Right.
So
Okay, that's
pretty much
awesome.
it
So
for
both
me.
of y'all on the same page.
Yeah.
All right, listen. One thing I learned is life is full of choices.
Yeah.
If this man chose to do what he did, that was a conscious decision he made. And obviously, he didn't take something from someone. So we had 11 other people
That
that was
agreement.
willing to participate
Right.
in what he chose to do.
Right.
So if they chose as adults to do that and he can financially support them, maybe they didn't calculate time. Maybe time wasn't the most important factor in their decision, but that's their decision. And what we're trying to do is hold people to our standards.
No.
Well,
Which
let
are-
me say
which are healthy
this.
standards.
Let me say
That's
this.
not what make
But-
it unhealthy.
but
That's
let
what
me-
I'm saying.
let me-
Like
let
we
me-
can't categorize something
You
unhealthy
go
if
and
it's not our
let me ask
decision.
you- let me ask
But
this question.
it's not our decision. So how can we label their decision
I'm gonna answer
as
that question.
unhealthy?
I'm gonna answer that
okay,
question.
did the kids?
Let me answer that question.
Okay, I'm gonna let you answer it. But did the kids? Are they at a disadvantage?
Yes.
We don't know the
Yes.
kids.
Yes.
So we're
Yes.
assuming
Yes.
because none of us
Yes.
know the
Because
situation.
we know
of those
child
kids.
development. We
But-
know child
but you don't know the kids. You don't know the
I
situation.
know child
they're in.
development.
So they're
I
not
know
happy.
child development.
So they're not happy. So every kid
They're not
that
in the
doesn't
best
have-
situation.
So every kid that does not have both parents putting in the time that they need are not in the best situation.
They're at
Absolutely.
a disadvantage. You're
Yeah,
absolutely
absolutely.
correct. You're absolutely correct.
Absolutely.
Can I say something real quick?
Absolutely.
First
Go
of
ahead, answer the
all,
question.
who's to say that Sierra and Russell doing a good job? They may have nannies watching their kids.
You're right.
Sierra on tour, he playing football. So we don't know what they doing with their kids. We just going with the media say
That-
they
that
doing.
wasn't the
Okay,
question.
okay, but I'm finna
That's
talk about.
part of it.
That's part of what I'm going to get at.
Okay.
Because everybody want to judge with somebody what kind of parenting skills everybody got. My next
No,
thing
I'm asking
was
the question.
my next thing was I get tired of females saying how a man did a female. If she was raised right, she wouldn't choose Future ass. So she didn't want to choose Future. So who to say she was living her life right?
Well, I wouldn't say that she wasn't raised right. Sometimes we
Right.
have our own minds and our own choices.
Okay, I'm not saying she wasn't, but I'm saying everybody want to always fault the man because he a player. That's what she chose.
You
She
right.
chose that man.
Yes, she
So
did.
what was her upbringing that she chose?
Well,
a man
maybe
like
she
that?
didn't know he was like that
Did it
initially.
4 times.
No, I wouldn't say that it's the upbringing. What I would simply say is for women, because I can speak because I'm actually a woman. Okay, what we do is, and I need y'all to hear me loud and clear. What we do as women is we go into relationships choosing men based upon feelings. Okay, we go
I'll give you
and-
that.
right.
I'll give you that. I'll give you
Exactly.
that.
We go in based upon emotions, our feelings. Like we don't sit and take those feelings away and just sit back and analyze the situation and what this individual is saying. And it goes both ways. Like it can go both ways, but mainly for women, we are. We're so caught up in the, oh, he told me this, oh, he did this for me. So what? Take that away and think with don't think with your emotions, think with your mind. You know what I mean? Like ask those questions that needs to be asked. Bring them to the table. Treat it like an interview, like we said previously on our first show. Treat that date like an interview.
Or we just have to see the signs for what they are. Address them initially, because I have people call me all the time and the signs are there. They're telling me the signs and I'm like, okay, well, the signs are all there, but we don't want to see the signs as women. I can't speak on men. I can only speak on women. We see the signs, but we so caught up, like she said, with emotions.
Yeah.
We so wrapped up because maybe they, giving it to us good in the bed and we
That's
caught
number
up. And now we don't see the signs for what it is because the dick. Okay.
You're clouded.
But let me go back to what.
Wait
he
a
was
minute.
saying.
That right there needed a sound effect.
Get to him. Get to him. Let me say it one more time. The dick good.
Let me say this.
Yes.
People talk. People talk. Go ahead. But listen, with all this having kids, we don't know how it affects the kids. First of all, when you're making decisions, a conscious decision to have children, he talked about the woman's choice, he talked about the man's choice, but we don't consider the kid's choice.
That's true.
Because they're
would
the
agree.
helpless, they're the helpless entity
Yes.
in that whole
Right.
equation.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
nobody can tell me 11 kids spread out is the best situation for those kids.
Call back. I'm sorry. Call back.
Call back. I'm sorry. Call back.
Yeah,
I
I
still
have
a
to
choice.
ride with Mr. H on this one.
They call them back.
I disagree. They made a choice. They might know what's best for their kids.
That is
What they
for the
want
kid.
from they may know what's best for their kids and what they want from their kids.
Hey, caller, you're on the line.
Yo,
Who are we talking with?
okay, this is JoJo. Now listen, are we talking about the parent that he is to his father, or are we talking about the individual he is to his woman? What exactly is the topic? And then another thing is, every woman wants a dude, not necessarily a bad dude or a bad boy, but she wants to feel protected. And when you got this nerd, they don't feel protected. So, you know, till you get to know that man and know outside or the inside of him that he can protect her, that's when I think a woman's mindset would change to who she talks to.
And I can agree with that. That's what I was saying, that, you know, we make these bad choices because we're running behind the bad guys, when reality the bad guys are no good for us. You know, this simple guy or this guy that we thought was a nerd or, you know, couldn't, you know, stand up to this bad boy type, end up being good for us. And that's Russell. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of Russells out there that get passed up.
So bad boys are no good for women?
I'm saying,
wait, let me say this.
Definition of a bad boy is different. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, it is.
It's not necessarily
Exactly.
a dude on the street
I agree
being
with
thugged
that.
out or beating on women or selling drugs. It's really his mentality, like, you know, got this swag or got this certain personality. It's not necessarily, you know what I'm saying, him going to prison or him being on his room or not being a father. That's not a bad boy.
But Joe, I'll say this, Joe. Most of the men that I've come in contact that had that bad boy image, they were players.
Okay, so let's I have to address this I'm about to say.
We don't know.
Okay, see, because we have this thing going on that it's just like, if you pick this type of guy, you're gonna get cheated on, you're gonna be dogged out, you're gonna be this. But if you pick this type of guy, then you're gonna be nurtured and you're gonna be cared for.
Right. And it's not.
Let me tell you something, honey. You got some of these dudes out here exactly. That does not come with a certain type of persona. It's guys out here that are just as bad. And let's address this, because nobody likes to address this. We only address men cheating and physically abusing. But what about the men that's out here emotionally and mentally dragging women? You know, let's address that. We don't need to just talk about men that are cheaters, because you got some of these good boys, you know, that they may not be cheating, but they're emotionally abusive.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Financially abusive.
It's different things that you can be abusive to a person.
Correct.
You know, a lot of people think it's just physically, but it's mentally, it's abandonment. It's multiple things that you can be abusive to a person.
Correct. That's right.
You know
Exactly.
So right now we need to talk about his character, not the parent that he is. Because if we go by that, CC Wyans got about 100 damn kids.
Let me respond to that.
So you know, if we want to put the kids, we can go both ways with both, you know, woman and man.
True.
But I'm a bad parent.
Oh, let me respond to that. I don't think what LaShawn just said is accurate. So you can't get caught up in stereotyping. I think the problem that people have is when some of the signs are obvious and then they get ignored. That's when people start developing what some will perceive a judgmental attitude. Hey, why are you making that decision? Because it's obvious. So when people are more covert about their manipulation and ability to emotionally abuse and financially abuse and all this other stuff, that's almost, you can't fault a person for finding out the hard way. But when you see that train coming and you don't get off the tracks, that's a different conversation. That's all we saying.
And that's basically what I was saying in a nutshell. That we see the signs and we ignore the signs for all other reasons, and then we end up, when it hit us in the face, like you say, with a, you know, hit us with a 10, you know, with a truck. And now we're like, you saw it, sir.
You saw it coming.
You saw it, bro.
But my point is that a dude being inconsistent and things like that, let's be real, we can kind of see that coming. We can see the phone calls, the patterns, the consistencies. Somebody that's going to emotionally abuse you can't see that.
I agree.
And I definitely agree. So we can't just go and just throw the guys that's cheating, you know, and the guys that's physically abusing women under the bus to make them seem like they're these bad guys, when you have these good guys that are doing just as much damage to women.
We'll throw them all away.
But we agree with that. But our thing is why go into something that you know from the onset is unhealthy? Let me just say this: if I'm a woman and you got 11 kids, I'm not giving you number 12. I'm just saying.
I agree. But do something like LaShawn said.
Simple math. That's all I'm saying.
LaShawn said that goes against your constant argument that we have about people making choices, because you like to say the upbringing and that you can't dismiss, what they went through. Maybe her mama had 11 kids from 11 different men, so it was okay for her. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's something that she deemed as normal because of her own upbringing.
Okay.
She saw her dad have kids from multiple women. So that was her norm. So if you want to say that we can't dismiss the child's upbringing and the things that they saw, then we have to put this same old thing. That's why I tell y'all, these lines, y'all be making these gray lines. That's the reason why. No. That's the reason why we have all of this mess going on, because let me tell you something. We are one of the only cultures that have all of these gray lines with it. Like when you go over to China, all this funny stuff, all this, it's a matter of an opinion. No, this is what our culture does, and this is what we don't. And until Black America, we can let white America do whatever the hell they want to do. We are behind the 8 ball. Until we decide to get us a list of do's and don'ts together and stick to that, we're going to stay second-class citizens.
Yeah, all right. Let me respond, because that was a misrepresentation. Nobody.
That was deep.
Nobody is saying.
That was deep.
Nobody
was
is
really
saying
deep.
as
That
far
was
as like,
really
because I don't dismiss the upbringing. But if somebody comes to you with 11 kids and they're taking care of them effectively, that's one thing. But if you see somebody with 11 kids and they're not taking care of them effectively, that's a totally different conversation.
But then that still contradicts what you just said to him earlier, because he said he's financially doing what he's supposed to do, and you said if he don't have the time.
No. I said 11 kids spread out. If I got 11 by one woman, or maybe even 2, but 11 spread out is what I said specifically.
And that's not a good
say it
word.
correctly. Say it correctly.
There you go again.
Say it correctly.
Listen, life is full of choices.
It's too many addendums.
I know. Grandmother said 11 and 12 kids.
Yes, you're
That,
right.
and granddad was taking care of them. That's healthy.
You're right, but I'm saying you're adding addendums.
But that's how I said. No. That's how I said it in the beginning.
We
I was
can't
very
add these
specific.
addendums. We
I was
add
very
too many
specific. I said
addendums.
11
But
spread
like I
out.
say,
I was very specific.
So let me speak a little more closer, man. My grandma had 10 kids.
Thank you.
And
That's different.
And my granddaddy didn't take care of them. And all my aunts and uncles, they all
was it for one man?
One man.
One man.
Could you listen, man?
Okay, well,
Just
tell
listen.
me.
Listen, that's my grandma business. Y'all gonna stay out my grandma business.
You put your grandma in there.
Listen, I'm just saying to you
Grandma
that
came to the G spot.
all her kids are fine. They humans. They make mistakes like everybody else on earth, right? But my grandma
How many baby
shows
daddies?
it don't stay out my grandma business.
Then we're gonna get back to
Listen,
Sierra
what I'm-
Future.
yeah.
Ding, ding, ding.
No, it's the point. Y'all
I'm just
trying to
saying,
walk
I
away
said
from
after
the
you.
point.
No, I said
Like,
after you.
I can't never let nothing go. Life is full of choices. You
I
make
told y'all
the
this was gonna
choices.
be hot.
Those were the choices that Future and those women made, and they not complaining to the world that their kids not taken care of. So what we talking about?
We're talking about how the woman is being treated.
What woman?
Go ahead.
Okay, let's get
Hello,
back.
caller.
Callers, we got off. Sorry, callers.
Yeah, this Black Tony.
Okay.
I just want to take
Like
up for
that.
Russell, and I just want to say this: nobody addresses that Russell went in his closet and prayed for this woman.
Oh yes.
We needed you to call back on the second
That's in
half.
our part. That's in our second part.
That's part two.
Oh, that's hit the pussy. That nigga probably fucking all kind of shots out the box. Put on that shit. That nigga put on.
We sometimes judge women on their history and what they did as opposed to who they're supposed to become.
I agree.
Yeah.
Sometimes we got to go into that realm and say we all have a story,
Right.
and all the good stories have that contrast in between.
I agree.
Because who we're supposed to become, it's not started in the beginning of the story.
That's
Amen.
true. That's true.
It happens in the folding, in the journey, in the
Yeah.
yes,
We gotta
in the
cut.
no.
It's that time, caller.
We have to go because we got to move through this. We got a second
But
part.
great
That's our
part,
second
great
part,
part,
but great. That's great.
comment.
Yes.
I'm gonna save it for the second part.
Yeah,
I'm gonna twist
okay.
That whole
So
prayer thing.
Yeah.
what are we doing?
Part two.
We're gonna address the praying
What are we
Yes.
doing? We doing a
'Cause
solution?
who came up with that praying thing? Did he say that?
Yes.
He said he went in the closet and prayed?
Yes.
He definitely
Save it for the second
prayed.
part.
Yeah,
Hold on,
wait,
wait.
Did he say that out of his mouth?
Yes, he
I
did.
went in the closet and prayed.
No.
So what did he
He
say?
said his words, and I'm not quoting them verbatim, but he did say that he prayed to God for a wife.
Yes.
which is awesome. I don't have a problem with that.
Okay, let's go. Let's transition. Let's stay on tap. We done-
Y'all mean the thug got pray for a wife?
Whoever.
Y'all pray for her and the
Save
sister.
it for the second.
Let's,
Let's
let's,
stay around.
let's-
Mama
let's
too.
address these solutions
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
to the problems
Right.
This is positive
with
talk.
women
Positive talk.
getting drug up 285,
Right.
Knock on my door.
back across Spaghetti
Right.
Junction,
Right. Start on my side.
all the way to 95, back to Miami on
Oh,
95, and round
All right.
826.
Right.
Let's
I'm
go
a-
ahead
Let's start on this side of the room.
and address
Okay.
what are the solutions if we are all agreeing that this is what's going on, which
I'm gonna start on this side.
What the mess?
So listen,
Ah.
this is a solution. On a serious note, my argument is Russell got what he asked for, and Sierra got what she needed. I really think she needed somebody like Russell to make her the queen that she is, because she's carrying herself in a queen light right now.
Yes, she is. Yes.
And I hate to give people like titles prior to them passing away. I got another example. I ain't gonna say it, but she deserves that. Like, she's a woman at the end of the day. So regardless of her choices, she's entitled to be happy. She's entitled to be loved. She's entitled to be inspired. She's entitled to be a leader. She's entitled to display what we expect out of our women.
Right.
Period. Black, white, no matter what. She's just entitled to that. And because she's entitled to that, I applaud Russell. And I think a lot of dudes hating on Russell.
They are.
Because Russell raised the bar.
come
Yes,
on
he
now.
did.
And a lot
Yes.
of dudes don't want to raise the bar because
Yes.
they understand men and women, well, humans like the path of least resistance. And Russell raised it under all the circumstances when
Yes.
what's that saying he shouldn't even be doing that for her.
Yeah.
He did it and she's shining.
Yes.
So I can't be mad at Russell. I gotta love Russell. Actually, I gotta sit back and watch some of what he's doing to learn from it.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So we can't, I don't condemn her for her decisions prior to that, but the hope in highlighting her decisions is to prevent other women from having to go through what she went to get to where she at.
So that's why we here.
So that's my
Right.
position.
Okay.
Right.
Kim.
And I agree with that. I definitely do, because for me, my solution is similar. We all have a story. We all have to go through the journey. Everybody's story is different. So this woman may not have been dragged through the mud. That's her story. My story can't be her story.
Right.
For me, I had to go through a couple of apples,
Bad apples.
to get to the right one. I'm speaking that into existence,
Come on
y'all.
now. Let's touch it.
I'm single. We're gonna pray afterwards. But I will say, to piggyback on what you said, sometimes you do have to go through things in life in order for you to become this individual that appreciates and says, I know that I'm a queen. I know what I deserve. I know what I don't deserve, and I know what I don't want. So in her case, yes, she did have to go through that, but it made her the woman that she is today. And that's the same with me. It made me who I am today. And honestly, I wouldn't regret a thing. So, but what I will say is, ladies, take your emotions out of the equation when you are dating,
Okay.
because you don't want to end up where you're to a certain age and you just settle it.
Okay.
We don't want that. And we want to break these cycles. So that's what I have to say.
Okay, I agree with Guy. We definitely have to applaud Russell. I think another thing that's causing a couple of brothers to be upset is he also created a little distance, because once women start recognizing their value,
Hallelujah.
once women start recognizing
Yes.
their worth, a lot of brothers know that they're gonna be out the game.
Yes,
because
of
them
course.
sisters not gonna fall for it anymore. Brothers tend to have issues with brothers who wreck the game. quote unquote. So I think that's another reason.
Absolutely.
But let me just say this: as we applaud Russell, I also want the ladies to get this lesson. This is the benefit when you submit to the right man. Okay, her life, you could quantify it, is better now that she has submitted to a man that compliments her.
Yes.
It's a whole lot
That's
better.
me now.
So there is a reward for choosing the right man. There's a reward for being patient, and there's also a reward for leaving unhealthy relationships in a timely fashion. Because had she stayed longer, she would have missed the Russell Wilson window. Okay, I'm done.
He's
Okay. Okay. But no, I
Can I
love
say
it.
something real quick?
well, they burning up.
Saved you.
Let's bring it.
I'll come up for you.
No, but come on.
I will come up for you.
We got a red carpet this way. Let's go.
Caller.
Chill.
Go ahead with the YouTube G Spot is live right now.
Go ahead.
We're doing fine. Go ahead.
Good
Tim?
evening.
What's your name, caller?
All right, so listen, there's one thing here, Ohio Sean, we go back, but I'm not gonna tell you where I am just yet. But so
What?
one thing about this that I think people don't touch on is the fact that people say that guys are knocking Russell or whatever, which they shouldn't do. But let me tell you where I'm two men at. I'm Russell and I'm Future. I'm Russell in the sense that I raised my child. I've had him since he was about 4 months old. He's 16 years old now. I've always raised him as my son. His father was an absentee. I've always raised him as my son. But I will tell you this. When it comes to me and my future part, it's if my son, stepfather, would start calling him his son. I feel like that's a form of disrespect. And I know for some people, what a lot of people forget, they'll say, well, he's paying the bills, he's taking care of her. And I tell people, my child not for sale.
Thank you.
I don't care about who pays the rent and all that. That's your man now. You don't get to take my child and decide that's how that is. I can respect Russell, but I can understand where a guy like Future would be coming from. And that's why I say I can be either one of those two men. And I would let Russell know one time, you're not going to be calling my son, your son, like I'm an absentee, like I'm not there just because I'm not with his mother.
Okay.
I agree with that. I agree with brother. You took my argument. I agree with that.
Okay, well,
I had that one.
well, hell, we got 11 of them.
You is, brother.
What's your name again?
Caller, what's your name?
I guess
Oh,
he hung.
LaShawn know me. She know Tim. I've been knowing LaShawn since she had on that little church dress.
Oh, my God.
Somebody got put on blast.
Somebody
Somebody got put on blast.
with them big old wires.
Timothy, you know what? That's Timothy Cooper. I know exactly who the hell it is.
Well, thank you, Tim. Thank you, Tim. Thank you.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead, brother. What you got? Hold on. Hey, with Disco, what you got? What you got? Brother?
First of all, we all know that a lot of folks that present the shit to the public, it shit ain't true. So my thing is, if I'm praying for my old lady, I ain't got to make a big ass announcement to the whole world. Let me finish. That I'm praying in a goddamn closet and all that kind of shit. So my thing is, I pray to God this nigga got an outside baby somewhere, so all y'all can kiss my ass. Because everybody got this man on a damn pedestal because when he presented himself. Just like Tim Tebow punk ass, and when he was talking about how he prayed for the game, he ain't got no kids outside, all that put on shit. So don't get me wrong, Russell Wilson is an ideal man if he truthfully for y'all to try to aim at.
Right.
But if I'm doing something for my old lady and it's genuine, I ain't got to tell the whole world I'm praying for my old lady.
Well,
All
they're in
that's
the public eye.
put on
You
shit.
understand that.
Period. And who's to say now about stepdaddy shit? If our future to whoop this motherfucking ass, because at the
I'm
end
with
of
you
the
on
day, that's my
I'm
motherfucking
with you on
child.
that. I'm
And
with you
Sierra
on
needed
that.
her ass whooped because you
Oh
respect
my
that man.
God.
Period.
Okay.
Because if he wanted
Feel you, though.
if he wanted
Feel
the
you.
kid life and that man ain't know his daddy, it's a different story.
Thank you.
But that man know who his daddy was. So if Russ was supposed to be so biblical, he would never did that shit anyway.
Now, I'm
So
with you.
all that shit speak for itself.
You know what?
Okay, hold on. Let me just say this, because and that fatherhood step, that I agree with you 1,000%. I ain't got no debate on that.
All right. Well, let me just say this for my solution. I want to wrap up my solution. I just want to tell my women. I just want to tell my women to stop ignoring the signs.
Thank you.
Okay, that's it. I just want to tell you to stop ignoring the signs, because the day I decided to stop ignoring the signs, it was the best day of my life.
Thank you.
Because I weeded out so many bad situations. Like, I weeded them out before I went through the bad situations. Because before, when I was, growing up, I would see the signs, I would ignore it, and then when it hits me in my face, then I'm like, well, damn, I did know he had the potential to do it, but I ignored it because for whatever reason, I had my emotions involved or whatever the case is. So I want to say that, number one. Number two, I want my women to start asking the right questions. Somebody told me this today because I said ask the question. They said no, don't just ask questions. You got to ask the right questions and then another thing, sometimes all you got to do is just sit back and listen. You just got to sit back and listen. If you just sit back and listen, sometimes if you let that person do enough talking, he's gonna tell you everything you need to know. Everything you need to know. So instead of trying to be doing all the talking, sometimes just sit back and listen. Believe me, I guarantee you, if you sit back and listen, you'll thank me later because they're gonna tell you everything. You're gonna be like, wow.
Well, you got to know what to listen for too. So we starting a women's boot camp.
Man, something for real serious. I heard a man on one of my shows ask this question of y'all ladies.
What?
Do y'all know what to ask?
Yes.
Most women don't. Most women don't.
That's what he said. Yeah.
Me personally, I don't ask a lot of questions. I let the guy do a lot of talking. So I do a lot of listening, and I'm gonna see where I fit in his life. A guy when they start talking. No. It works because we just had an incident at dinner.
Yeah, we did. We did.
We did an experiment.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we fight all the time before we come here.
Tell them to experiment.
So I prefer to let a guy talk.
She prefers that.
I prefer that. I mean,
but if you get a guy that don't like to talk, now you got to pull it out of him. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you something. No, let me tell you something because my man don't like. My man not a talker.
We're getting off topic.
No, we still in a solution. My man is not a talker. So, and if you met him, he's not a talker. So if you just sitting around waiting on him to talk, you're gonna be in trouble because you ain't gonna find out too much.
Saying that right
I mean, I'm just saying, I'm telling the truth. If you know him, he's real laid back. So for those that are laid back, what do you do in that case?
If he's laid back, he's probably not for LaShawn.
Okay.
No, I mean, I'm not. I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
I'm just saying.
But no, seriously. If you can ask questions, sometimes you do have to ask questions to kind of prompt a conversation.
Right.
But when this guy is talking, you need to be listening, and you need to listen with your ears and not with your heart.
That's true.
Because a lot of women, back to Kim's point is,
that's true.
We do make emotional decisions.
That's true. I agree with that.
And we're not supposed to make decisions with our hearts. We're supposed to make decisions with our heads.
Absolutely.
The answer to all that, and this is where y'all always get it wrong, man. Listen, you talk to a person long enough, they gonna feel you out before you can feel them out, and they're gonna know what to say. You got some people that's skilled at that. They know what to say, and they're gonna find out what to say, and they're gonna say it long enough to get what they need and get in the position.
It's only so long you can disguise yourself.
This is the overall solution because we got a minute.
Yeah, we got a minute because Dinner didn't even get a chance to say his solution.
Yeah. My solution to the problem would be is don't judge book by its cover. Everybody's chapter is different. Everybody's life is different. Now we can take certain portions of our life and try and apply it to somebody else's life. But it's the end result, 99% of the time, ain't got to come out the same way. Okay. So what I would say to the men is that take that hard look first. Before you start going out there looking, take that hard look in the mirror. That man in the mirror is going to tell you a lot.
I agree with that.
It's going to tell you a lot. And that development that you need, you're going to be able to take it to your next relationship.
Yeah. I agree with that.
I feel like ultimately, especially at our age at this point, a solution that counteracts all the bull is if you meet somebody and it looks like you guys are not lined up together, they want marriage, you don't. They don't want kids, you do.
Right.
Leave that person alone.
Right.
Go find somebody that's compatible with you in the life that you have set up. Right. If you into poly, do poly. Find other people that's poly. If you monogamous, be monogamous with people that's monogamous. Right. We're too grown and too old at this point. Like we 1 foot in the grave grown.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
Yeah, no, seriously.
No, that's true.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, maybe not
point,
Kimberly, but
the rest of us.
Yeah, the rest of
of
thing
us.
is that-
If you
I don't wanna be one
if
foot
you
hungry.
know that this person wants something different, regardless of the quest that you're trying to accomplish as the men,
Yes.
or regardless of the dollars that you're trying to get as the women,
Right.
let that person
Let it
go
go.
on about their business and
Let 'em
find
go.
somebody that is equal to what they're looking for.
Let 'em
Well,
go.
that,
agree
that
with that.
comes back.
And
that,
pray.
That all comes
And
back.
pray. I'm
Exactly.
sorry. If you have a
That was
relationship with God,
that was
just
another
pray.
thing, was
Just
you gotta
pray
have
and
that
secret.
spiritual relationship
sorry.
at some point. Because if you don't have that spiritual, then it's not gonna be there.
Okay,
Well, we're moving on. We're moving on to the next topic. Next topic,
We got a minute.
LaShawn.
Got a minute left?
So,
No, we ain't got a minute. It said next topic.
Next topic.
so
Gotta stay on track.
we
We making it happen.
Come on, next topic.
I'm gonna come in first because I actually didn't even speak.
Yeah. Oh, we gotta
I'ma
let you.
talk.
Go ahead. I don't have much to say. I love
What is
it.
that? Go ahead.
I don't have much.
Get
to say.
to it, Sean. She cut his mic off.
So, now we hope that you guys gathered some great information out of that last segment. So now we're going to talk about the fact that in our culture, seemingly a man not cheating, not being abusive, not doing all the things that women complain about is a problem for some men and even some women. I've been seeing some women, putting the brother on blast and say he was simping and
Yeah. They
you know,
mad.
they even created a Facebook group
Yeah.
that's Future versus
Russell.
Are you
and it
serious?
says you simping or you the Don.
Yeah.
So they were referring to Future
Wow.
as being the
The
Don.
Don.
And
Wow.
Russell that
And
went
sipping.
and took a single mom out the hood
Yes.
and did something special.
Yes.
He is simping.
Give me a simple.
Oh, Lord.
Listen.
Now
Now,
y'all want to simp.
Yeah.
They want to simp when y'all. 20
That's
years
a
ago-
lot. You know
20
what?
years ago, they ain't want no simp.
okay, that was the
Just
last
saying.
that was the last
Okay,
segment.
how many kids did she
But
have?
since
How many kids did she have when he married her?
just one.
One. Just the one
She
child.
only had-
Not
she had
11,
one
but
child.
one.
I mean, realistically,
One child, one baby daddy.
one child, one baby daddy.
And
Well,
yeah, Sierra wasn't in the hood. She wasn't in the hood.
she's from the hood. That's what I
Yeah.
said. She's from the hood. She graduated from Clayton County
But she
Public
was
Schools.
removed from the hood by the time
Okay,
Russell
we don't care because that doesn't matter to some people.
But he didn't.
Okay,
Her opposite argument, you said you got something from the hood.
yeah, she is from the hood. She from the hood. Yeah.
Okay, but she didn't.
Celebrity, but he still picked her.
We don't know that because let's
that's
consider
a good one.
let's
That's
consider
the
this.
nice one. If she
Hold on,
was
repeat
But
that.
let's
Repeat that. Hold on, repeat that. I
if
missed
she was
that.
still in Clayton
Let's
County,
consider. Well, we're not talking about if she was still in Clayton County. What we do know is that he had some choices that didn't involve a woman from the hood that already had a kid, and he didn't have any children.
And he picked
So
a
let's,
black one.
let's be clear that he could have chose another woman
With no
of
child.
any race.
Right.
Yeah, I said
of
that.
any-
He
of
chose a
any-
black.
Did you see how Sierra dance?
Time out. Hold on.
How the hell he can't have no?
Listen,
How we don't
listen,
know
we
she
not, we,
didn't
I'm
we
messing
not,
with
him.
and you absolutely
She got
correct.
the point. Now you got
So what I'm saying is that he chose her because he could have had some other choices, and they could. He wasn't previously married to a white woman.
Okay,
okay.
facts.
And
he was.
yes, he was.
Yeah, Ashton Mean.
Well, I didn't know that
Yeah,
either.
Ashton Mean.
He was
Ashton
previously
Mean. They got
married to a
married in.
white
They got
Yeah.
married.
He wanted to
January
come on
2012.
over. He about to cry.
Married January
Was she Asian?
2012.
Mean? That's Asian.
Well, my point is that he could have his pick of the litter,
He could have whatever.
but he chose her.
He chose Sierra.
So-
Second time. The second time.
But
He
let me-
chose her
let
the
me-
second
no,
time.
no,
We got-
no,
y'all
we
wanna
gon-
get the
we
call?
gonna scratch them. We gonna scratch
Oh,
them.
that's appreciate the call. That's appreciate the call. Come on,
Yeah.
we could go later.
Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Okay.
It don't matter.
Hello, caller.
Who am I speaking with?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hey.
I'm calling in reference to the subject topic.
That's my dad.
Oh, let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Come on, brother. Let's get it. Let's get it. Okay, quiet on the set.
Go ahead.
The name is not important.
What
Yeah.
is, though, I appreciate the topic.
What's your name? What's your name, sir?
He said it ain't important.
If you must know, my name is Mr. Taylor.
Oh,
We got some wisdom.
Come on with it, Mr. Taylor.
Talk to us.
Joe Taylor is my name. And I've been listening to your program for the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay.
And it's needed in this society, particularly in the black family.
I need to turn my daddy up.
Yeah, turn it
Agreed.
But it's a lot of things, it's a lot that is missing when we start talking about the unification of the black male and the black female. Because there's a lot of things that has been done to us that has not been treated properly so that we can have productive relationships.
right.
So we have to go back to the root of who we are and begin to restructure our relationship between black man and black woman,
Yes.
because there's a distrust
Yes.
that lies deep within our psyche.
Yes.
So that's one of the first things that we have to come back to grips with, as well as the spirituality
Come on, Pop.
of our being. We have to get into the spiritual aspects of ourselves. Now, black man, as a black man, I went through the process of misusing women.
Oh,
I did some things that I wasn't supposed to do,
speak
Tell
on
the
it.
truth.
and I had to come to the realization of my ignorance,
Yes.
and that's basically what it be.
Okay.
Because when we allow ourselves to be emotionally controlled rather than psychologically and spiritually controlled, then we subject to error. So what we have now is we have dysfunctional families. We have kids running around without parents, don't know where their parents are. We have kids running around that's hating their parents because of what they didn't do for them and how they treated their mother. And
Yes.
these are a lot of the issues that we have to confront,
Yes.
because this goes deeper than what we are just looking at now. We have to go all the way back into the history of time
I agree.
and see what transpired between the black man and the black woman. And then we have to understand that, and then we have to apply the science of relationships.
Yes.
There's a science that goes to wholesome relationships. And if those principles are not applied, then you're going to have a malfunction within a relationship, and that's what's happening in the black community.
Yes. That's
We are so torn up till we actually don't realize who we are when we are actually dealing with one another. So it's a lot of things that we have to uncover and restructure in order for us to be whole again.
Yes.
And it takes time, but the first step is the step that you all are taking. You have to bring it to the forefront.
That's right.
Bring it to the understanding or awareness of the people, and then you can start working on those things.
Right.
And it's going to take time to make it all change. It ain't going to change overnight.
Thank you.
True.
It's a process that has to be gone through. And it's going to take a lot of time, because we have had teachers before us, and we still having teachers, and this problem is still not solved. So that lets us know that it's going to be maybe years and years from now before things actually get right for us.
Right.
But it's terrible. It's terrible the way our black families are being torn apart.
Yes.
And the only person that can fix them really is the black man. Because the black man got to stand up, first of all, and become a man. We got to become a man so that he can understand what the black family needs.
Yes.
Provide that to them.
Yes.
Because the woman is going to follow the black man
Yes.
as long as he's doing what is proper for the wholesome of the black family.
That's it.
It starts with
And this is
leadership.
what-
That's
well,
right.
This is what the black man is not doing. He's not playing his proper part.
Yeah, that's part of the problem. I
Okay.
agree.
That
But we not going to leave
All
it.
right,
Y'all
yeah.
over here.
But you ready to hang
I'm not gonna do
Hold on,
that.
let's get that ready.
G-spot, baby.
Yes.
Tipped it up.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Thank
Thank you.
baby. That's what you get in the
Okay, so
I told
Yeah.
right. Show
When you
up.
look at creation, who is the head of the family?
The man.
Okay, so now if the man is the head of the family, but he's not properly giving them the right guidance, then what happens to the family?
They fall apart.
Give us
It
wisdom.
malfunctions. It malfunctions.
Yes.
Okay,
Well-
Mr. Taylor.
So
Mr.
now,
Taylor.
if that, just take for instance, how can I raise 5 kids in 5 different places
Thank
when
you.
I can't wake up
Hey, man, I
every
don't still
morning
agree with that.
Yeah.
and tell that kid to brush his teeth or get out the bed and get dressed for school? How can I properly raise him from another area? How can I do that?
Thank you.
Hallelujah. We've been saying it.
Yeah, I
Thank
still
you,
don't-
Mr. Taylor.
How can I do that though?
Yeah. Thank
I
you.
got
to us,
5
Mr. Taylor.
children in 5 different places. How can I properly give them the proper guidance that they need if I'm not present?
Thank you.
That's the truth.
Thank you.
Well,
How
one
you
of the
do?
big-
How you do? I want to know how you do that.
one of the
If I
big
just-
They
words-
don't.
one
They
of the
don't.
big hold on. One of the big words that he uses, unity.
'Cause
Understand
I
that that
don't
is
see it being
inside of a family unit. There has to be unity. So if there's no unity inside of that household, that's what's going to happen. And the power dynamic that you
But see,
place in
you're missing.
yourself.
Y'all
You
are
miss-
missing.
yeah, you-
Y'all are,
No,
y'all
I'm
are
not missing what he's
No,
saying.
you missing what he's saying.
Hold on, one at
Yeah,
a time.
I understand
ahead.
what he's saying. I understand the leadership role, but you also got to understand that our character has been torn down to you.
Correct. Correct.
Our image has been torn down to you.
Correct.
So it's going to make it more complicated
No,
for
it
you.
won't. No, it won't.
Hold on,
Listen
let
to
him
what
finish.
I'm saying.
Let him finish.
Listen to.
Okay, go ahead,
All
Mr.
right.
Taylor. You got anything else to say, Mr. Taylor?
I need you back next week.
My
If
God.
y'all have it, then just food for thought.
Okay.
Hey, Mr. Taylor, we'll see you
Thank
next
you,
week.
Mr. Taylor. You were awesome.
Mr. Taylor, I know you're still
Because-
watching. We'll see you next
Because
week.
I'm gonna tell you something. If the right man comes in, I'm gonna just use LaShawn.
He
If
gonna
the,
bring in order.
if the right man comes in, LaShawn is gonna follow. And we all know LaShawn is a very strong. She has a strong personality. But if the right man comes into her life and shows her guidance, baby, she's gonna get in line and she's gonna be submissive and she's going to
Okay.
follow.
What is
I
she
don't care
willing
what
to
you
do?
say.
What is she willing to deal with?
I ain't there to deal with nothing. I'm saying
This
if
is what
the
I'm saying.
right
So
man
you're
comes
telling me-
along.
You're telling me that a perfect man exists.
No, they don't.
Hold on.
Get back to Future Series.
He may be perfect for that.
Show.
Hey, that's what I was gonna say.
That's another
Things
show.
that she's
For,
going
for me or you.
certain things that she's gonna tolerate that the other woman wouldn't. That makes her perfect. That makes
For that
him
individual.
perfect for that
Yes,
individual.
yes.
That's what I'm saying.
That's another show. That's another.
All
show.
right,
Get back
we're
to
gonna
Future
get back
Series.
to the
First
topic.
of all, I want y'all to just recognize where I get it from. Okay?
Yeah, we
You get it from your
recognize.
daddy.
We get it. We get it.
We gonna recognize where I get it from. That's my daddy.
That was awesome.
Yeah, y'all,
Yeah.
y'all about to get hit with this mic.
He did all right.
He can hold
He did all right.
John say on. He can have the whole show.
Hey,
He could have had it. I mean, they were just mad because he spoke some truth. Oh, sorry.
I think you spoke a lot of truth. I'm gonna address part of it. It's one little small part I kind of want to.
yeah, y'all don't want to be accountable. That's the part.
That's what it is.
Y'all don't want to talk. Y'all
Next
don't
subject,
want
let's
to
next
talk
subject.
Next
about
subject.
the
You like to say
men.
you gave the women a scapegoat, but
Whatever.
Let's stick to the topic. Back
It's
to the
no
topic.
scapegoat. It's no scapegoat.
It wasn't.
It's what it is.
It is what it is.
If y'all want him to call back, he can re-explain.
Right. It is what it is.
Here's my question.
He could close the show.
If the type of man he described was available to every type of woman in today's condition, you mean to tell me all of them gonna follow?
No.
Listen,
Not.
See
They're not.
what we're
Not.
y'all
Maybe
are
not.
skipping-
Maybe all the
That's
women
all
are
I'm
not
saying.
going to follow.
That's all I'm
Maybe
saying.
all, because you got some that are just not ready for
but-
that.
Okay.
Thank
it's
you.
not
That's
even-
all I'm
it's-
saying.
it's- The point is, this is the point.
I got the
If we
point.
had the fathers in the home
Who been saying that?
raising their daughters
And sons.
to be these type of women that will follow
Right.
this type of
Oh,
man,
I'm with you.
they would. So that's what he's talking about.
Okay.
I kicked
Okay,
the
so
childhood
listen.
game. I kicked
So
the
look,
parenting
listen.
game
We
on
ain't
day
get to-
one.
we ain't get to the second one yet.
Everything Mr. Taylor said
I
was
kicked the
true
parenting thing since day
and
one.
accurate. He just left out the other half, the role that the women
Women
got to
gotta
play.
play.
That's all I'm
No,
saying.
he didn't leave out the
Yes,
other
he
half.
did.
No,
That's
he
his part.
said, see,
What'd he say?
y'all got
Hold on,
you got
reiterate.
you got to let me talk.
Okay,
Let me
go ahead.
talk.
Go ahead.
You got to expand your thinking a little
Go ahead.
bit. What he's saying, see, my dad told me to be a critical thinker. Y'all just scratching the surface with this. What he's saying is that if the men are in the home,
Yeah, I heard
so
that.
if we start from right now,
Okay.
today's date, and the men are in the homes,
With
and the
the child.
men are equipped
Right.
the way they need to,
Right.
the daughters that they gonna bring up in the next 16,
Will
18
follow.
years will follow.
Right.
The problem is that we've had the absence of the male
Right.
presence.
That
So
is.
the women that y'all are talking about not following
Hold on.
because they didn't have the
The
male
male.
presence that we're talking
That's
about.
right.
Hold on.
That's right.
It is what it is.
Yeah,
I mean,
now that's
we,
true.
We don't have
No,
to
no,
that's
accept-
not true.
We
That's
don't
not-
have to.
that's
We
an
don't
opinion.
have to
Hold on.
accept
That's
the
an
truth.
opinion.
Don't need your
Let me-
agreement,
let me
bro.
address something.
The
Let me
truth
address
does
something.
not need your agreement.
Let me address something.
At all.
Let me address something.
Yes.
I
On
ain't seeing here.
show number 1, I specifically said that the problem is we take our children from 0 to
You did.
18, almost 2 decades of miseducation and misrepresentation. The response I got back was we were making excuses.
No.
That was the response I got back.
You talking about two different things.
I'm gonna leave that alone.
We're
I
talking
said the
when
same thing Mr. Taylor said.
we were. No, you did.
Yes, I
Let's
really
be
did.
clear,
I
you
said,
did.
what's the
What
difference?
we were talking about is relationships and how we were talking about relationships and how the what did you say about the child? You talking about childhood rearing. That's not what show 1 was completely talking about. We talked about
You said
the
what we think the
effects.
problem was.
We
Yeah,
talked
the
about
problem.
the
We said
effects
defining
of
the
unhealthy
problem.
relationships.
No, we were defining the problem.
We were defining the problem.
Right.
We were defining the problem.
And I said the problem was the parents.
Okay, we got that part.
Okay.
We understand that kids need proper parenting.
Right.
We understand that. But what we were talking about, which I said several times, we talking about the 40-year-old grown men or women. We keep going back to talking about the ones that's already been raised,
Right.
wrong, right, or otherwise. That's where we're saying it's like once you recognize that you got a problem or you got an issue or whatever, I don't want to hear nothing about your mama and your daddy and how you was raised up. I probably didn't get the best upbringing either, but at some point I made a decision to say I'm not going to be this, I'm going to be that. So that I keep telling you,
I
we
remember
having
that.
two different conversations.
No, we're not.
Yes,
No,
we
we're
are
not.
because you keep talking about the rearing of children and
But by who?
in number
The proper
in,
men
in
and
number,
women. The
we
proper
get
men.
that.
Okay.
We're not disagreeing on that. The problem is when we're talking about solutions with what we got going on, black relationships, and we're talking about problems that we are currently experiencing, we're talking about that's an excuse. You can't talk about your mama and all that stuff. You got kids right now.
That's about.
So if you maintain that as an excuse,
We gotta
then
call
what
him.
are your kids gonna say?
Okay, let me,
Well,
let
call
me-
it.
We gotta
let me
call
answer that question. Let me answer that question.
Go ahead,
Who are
caller.
we speaking with?
Caller.
Hello.
Oh. Okay, so why they
Okay, so
figuring
we
out
can
their
move.
phone?
Hang up.
Oh, let me answer her question.
Go ahead.
I never said
Hang up.
I never said that men of this generation get to use their childhood as an excuse. I'm saying if we're talking about solutions, like your father just said, and bringing up the next generation, which he specifically pointed
That's not
out.
what we're talking
Hold on,
about
hold on.
in show
I'm answering
one.
your question. I'm answering your question.
But you know what, guys? You guys are off topic.
Yes.
If I must
but
say,
she
you're
asked me
off
a question, but
topic.
okay,
We got to
the
get
next
back
show.
to the loving.
Let's go. Okay, let's go to the
Well,
next show.
Right.
You
one of the biggest
misrepresented my
problems
And the
question.
is-
solution.
is that
Loving.
we
Let's not get
cannot-
off topic.
Okay, go
Right.
ahead.
We cannot be quiet enough.
We're not going to do this dinner. We're going
No,
to get back on
I'm
the
saying,
loving.
This
Yes,
is what I'm saying.
please.
One of the biggest problems is that we don't be quiet enough to have that exchange, to listen to each other in relationships.
I get that, but we need to get back to the
Yes,
loving
we
part.
definitely- The people want to
Loving.
hear.
Yeah, to the loving, the part 2. Go ahead, LaShawn.
What we're talking about is a contributing factor to why men would see this as a problem because they never seen a man properly love their mom.
Well, that's true. Now. That's
So,
Okay.
so we
Well, that's a good one.
It
That's a good one.
We're going to jump on topic.
uh,
We're going to jump on topic.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That's what she
well,
said.
That's what it is.
Yeah, that's what she said.
That's what it is.
So if they
We-
saw their mom abused and mistreated, then they don't know how to treat a woman outside of their house because they didn't see that.
That's a combo.
or
That's a
even the
combo.
girls,
That's
That's
an
a combo.
excuse.
or even the girls.
Could be.
Go ahead, caller.
And I just want to address what LaShawn said, and I think we missed it. He had his season. That's all. He came into his season. He didn't come out like, oh, he said, I went through some growing period. So he had a season
That's true.
when he came into himself.
Right.
So a lot of times we want to see the end result, but we're not letting that flower grow. We're not letting that tree get its roots. We always want to, oh, well, he a perfect man. But we gotta wait till that perfect man come into his season.
Exactly.
This is true.
I agree. Why can't he just come? Why can't he just come to his season?
You're not allowed because that's excuses. You're not allowed.
Y'all take
No,
so long.
and I said this in the first show. We not doing that. We not doing that. Don't
Call it finish. Call it finish. Call it finish.
What we doing? You can hang up because he finished. What we doing
Thank
is
you, Carlton.
what we said in the first show is this.
JoJo, go ahead and call.
You can go through as many damn mango seasons, apple seasons, pecan seasons, or whatever other season you want to go through. Just don't drag me with you.
That's
go
true.
through your season
And come back when
go
you're
through
ready.
your maturation process. Just don't take me on a ride with you. That's what I said, and I'll say that again to anybody.
Is that not a choice?
Excuse me.
That's not a choice to stay there or leave.
It absolutely, but we're not getting it. We're not gonna go back into and restart.
Yeah, we're not
rehashing
gonna
all
do that.
that about.
We're gonna go back to the
choices and
loving.
the lies and the manipulation and all that stuff that men do to keep women where they at. We ain't gonna do all that.
Yeah,
We know
let's
that that's the
get
whole
the
thing.
we
We're not even gonna do that.
Yeah, we're gonna
so we're
stick
going
to
back
loving.
to the fact that we had some men and women that had a problem with this man loving his wife.
Right.
Okay, we gonna go.
I
back
didn't.
Okay, so who is it? It's on you. and then
Okay,
we're going-
you're saying that some men and some women have a problem with loving him his
him
wife.
loving
His wife properly, yeah.
Well, that's the thing. The dynamics out in the street level. Okay, they may not, like you said before, they may not never have experienced true love.
Absolutely.
So therefore, their vision is going to be jaded anyway. So by him showing his support for his woman, which that's something you're supposed to do. You're supposed to show love, care, nurturing your woman also.
That's
to
right.
to her goals, her dreams, her wishes. You're supposed to do all that. But somewhere in the process of being the bad boys in the street, you lose that sympathetic.
Listen, we got like 8
Part.
minutes to split between the rest of us.
Right.
Let's-
Yeah. Colin.
Go ahead, Colin.
Okay, this is JoJo again. Listen.
No. Come on, man.
Yeah.
How I see it, we always go back and say why men and women can't be like they was in the 50s, 60s, 70s, on back there, like our grandparents. The only thing that Mr. Taylor was saying, we need to get back to that. So the same way that our generation done changed into how we raise families now, and they switched us from what we was in the 50s, the 60s, and the 70s. He's just saying we can get back to that. It's going to take time, just like it got time to take the man out the house, have a woman with the single parent, everything else. So it's possible it can happen. And the more we raise our sons to say, hey, you need to respect this woman. This is the way we need to do women.
Right.
This, and it get into his mentality. And then you raise your women or your daughters to become women to respect that. Then it can happen. It's not going to happen today, tomorrow, next year. It's not going to happen probably in 10 years. But if it keeps on getting pushed and every man's becoming a man and being grown, then we can make these women change. Just like the women that sit there on Instagram and get these big asses.
What's
This,
the time?
that.
But JoJo, we gonna have to. JoJo, we gotta cut you. We gotta cut you, Joe. I'm sorry, we gotta cut you.
That's what gets the attention.
JoJo,
if we
we
change
gotta
the
cut
things
you.
around,
So long, JoJo.
it can happen. It just takes time.
We have to cut you, JoJo, because
We
we
love
have
you,
time.
JoJo.
But we love you.
Thank you.
We love you. Thank you. We appreciate you.
So my take on it, because we're pushed for time and we're trying to get the solution out before we close.
Yeah.
My take on it, I don't really have much on it. I love the way he loves his wife. I wish we had more men out there that were doing it. Because I know for a fact it's amazing when you got a man that loves you. Okay, it's a difference. It's a difference from having a man and having a man that truly loves and supports you and treasures you and adores you. It's a difference. Take it from me, ladies.
Yeah,
Okay.
that is the start to us rebuilding the community. Is the man getting back into that place?
Yeah,
and
definitely.
and a part of what we can do at this point is for the man, to come into the home and love the women and children and restore that dynamic.
Right.
That's
right.
And it's a hard pill to swallow, but it's some things that we have to do on
Right.
both sides.
Right.
Ultimately, a lot of it rests on the shoulders of the man.
Right.
And so I would say as women, we need to be cognizant of the charge that most black men have on their lives,
Right.
and be there as support systems.
Right.
You know,
That's right.
create those safe places that we
places.
were talking about,
Right.
for them to be able to communicate in and be vulnerable in,
Right.
and do our parts as well. You know, if we need help, you know,
Right.
we say men don't ask for help,
Right.
but some of us we don't ask for help either.
That's true.
In difficult situations where, you know, we're looking to make choices. You know, we need to be building a community
Right.
of sisterhood and brotherhood,
That's
where we
right.
can ask right questions,
Right.
and get some type of evaluation
Right.
on, am I making the right
Right.
choice? You know, is this guy or this girl good for me?
Right.
And I
That's
think that we have to get out of our egos, you know, as 30s and 40s and 50s, 60-year-olds. We have to get out of our egos and actually create this community, so that our children that's coming up behind us, we can stop some of the things that they're going through. But
Right.
if we keep bumping heads, and if we keep going through, and if we keep abusing and misusing each other,
Right.
then we're only going to patch them. Is that the legacy that we want to pass
No,
on?
that's not.
You know,
That's
because
not.
we'll be responsible for however we leave this earth, and whatever state it's in, we have the responsibility to the children and the generations that's coming up.
I
That's
agree.
right.
I agree.
That's right.
I agree.
We gotta, you know, as a black community, we definitely have to break these cycles. It's been going on for far too long now. Men, women, we have to hear each other. We have to not sit there and go by, what am I trying to say? We can't sit and look at, honestly, I think the relationship is great. I mean, but everyone has their own relationships in my eyes. Like, you can't look at the Joneses house and say, oh, I want my house to be that way. Return to your man and start complaining to your man saying, well, he did her like this. Why you can't treat me like this? Don't do that. You know? So, I mean, there's nothing wrong with you loving your man properly versus your man loving you properly, as a queen. Brothers, what I would actually, tell you is that don't get this impression that if I decide to be myself, my next brother is gonna laugh at me, or my next brother is gonna say that's not cool, or just be who you are, and you'll be surprised at the caliber of women that you will draw to you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you will definitely be surprised of the type of women that you draw. Vice versa. Don't be afraid to be you. It's okay. Don't stop looking on social media. Stop looking at the next man's life, and just do you and do right.
Yeah, I definitely would have to agree with you, Kim, in the regards of we have to stay true to who we are, you know, individually as well as collectively. It's too many times that, you know, men are and even women, you know, because, you know, this is the cool thing to do, you know, even if it's not the right thing or the thing that you truly want to do, we find that, but we're too, I mean, I'm sorry, but we just too old for that at this point. You know, like we have to have our own individual identities.
That's right.
All right. My thing is, it just takes some time. Like the caller said, it's a season, and I came to my season. Unfortunately, I may have took some people down a ride during that process, but you know, it's the journey, so you can't avoid the process. What I've learned is I've been able to show or prove to myself, the person I see in the mirror, my prowess in a professional sense. I've seen and I understand my prowess in the school systems, in an intellectual sense. I've seen my prowess when it came to the hood and everything associated with those negative elements that I had to overcome. And what I have done in that process, I have proven to myself that I have nothing to prove. And when I got to that point that I had nothing to prove, no one said to me detracted from what I proved to myself. And once you have that sense of worth, then we can, and nobody has said this, I guess you said it your own way, but we can learn how to love each other, men to men, and not feel a certain way.
Absolutely.
And I think when we start as men learning to love one another and appreciate having a strong brother next to me, as opposed to hoping I have somebody weak next to me so I can take advantage of what he has going on plus me, then we get better. But we do have people that hope to see us weaker than we need to be instead of building us up in order to take advantage of us. So it's
That's
not
true.
till you get into your own, the way that I've come into my own, and I made that realization. I really don't need another man, so I need to learn how to love another man
Right.
to help build him up, because it might be my effort to love him to help him raise his son to be the king that my daughter needs.
Right.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And that's
It goes
that's
far.
it.
So once you start figuring those things out, everything begin to make sense. At that.
That's right. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely
Okay, so one of the
agree with
things
that.
that we have to do is we have to start, because I want to make one thing clear, because one thing that I do that may be a tad bit different from everybody else is I do have an emphasis on child development, but I want to make it clear that doesn't equate to the fact that men need to have higher standards, because at some point in time we're going to have to, like they did, like the ancestors did, go in the woods and have a rites of passage and have a strong conversation amongst men and get, and I agree with Mr. Taylor, get back into our natural position. Things are out of order, and things are out of order when you see so much chaos. Because what has happened with us, and while we're experiencing so much pain and conflict amongst each other, is because our family are led by women, and that's no disrespect to them, because they've stepped
I
up to the
agree.
plate
I
in
agree.
our absence.
I agree.
But I don't like hearing men say she won't let me be a man. A woman is never going to give me permission to be a man.
Hallelujah.
Because I
You
understand
said that.
that's my natural position. And any woman that understands her natural position, because I understand mine, will be compatible with me. So men, let's stop asking for permission, and let's
running out of
reclaim
time, y'all.
and take and retake our natural position, and everything else will be in
Let me
order,
see. I
and
think
we'll
I
prevent the
remember you.
generational curses that I'm concerned about. So I'm gonna leave it at that.
Okay,
That was
a good one.
That was a good one.
That sounds good.
A good one, Mr. That was a good
That was
one.
nice.
That sound good.
So I got a homework assignment
That's
for everybody. I got a homework assignment. I want us to look up interdependent as opposed to independent.
I
Well,
like
see,
that.
that's something that,
Yeah.
So
a
we
lot of people
have
wouldn't
this
know.
thing that I got 2 homework assignments actually. So soon enough, the G spot is gonna take you up through there what Pops was talking about into the root cause of this, and we're gonna be talking about the Willie Lynch letter real soon.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I need y'all to go ahead and pull it up. The Willie Lynch letter. I need y'all to pull that up and start reading it, scanning it through, and getting abreast on its information and how it ties into the problems that we're having in the Black community. And then I also, in intertwining that, it became the birth of Miss Independent. I don't need a man for nothing. That's where she was birthed from. So I want us to do a homework assignment on reading the Willie Lynch letter, and I also want us to look at the contrast between independent and interdependent, because interdependence is where we should be dwelling at as a community, meaning that we are depending on each other. So we're not devaluing, we're not lessening anybody's value by the woman submitting to the man. We understand that submission is respect, and we understand
Absolutely.
that the woman given that level of submission is not a negative thing.
No.
We understand that. We should understand. Hopefully, we'll come to this level of enlightenment and understanding that I am not, as a woman, I am not equal to a man.
Not at all.
But because I'm not equal doesn't mean I'm lesser.
Right.
I'm just different.
Right.
Okay. And our divine powers are supposed to complement each other.
Right.
And so there's just a level of enlightenment that we have to get to in order to, but we got to go through this healing process first.
Yes.
So we got to have these conversations where we got to get through to some healing.
These hard conversations.
These difficult conversations.
I
We
want you.
That's usually how it goes.
wait. We still got something going on around here.
Yeah, see, I get tired. Like
Let's get it.
I had a show.
To respond.
I had a show Sunday that was called Man Behind the Grind,
Uh-oh.
Okay.
and I made a topic. I get tired of men, and I respect your line of work, But all that upbringing and how I was raised, it come to an age in your life where that shit old.
Yeah.
Like that when you
Okay, let me respond to that. Okay,
done with
go
it
ahead,
yet.
go ahead.
When you 20, that's an honest answer.
said that.
I'm 20 years old.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do it yet.
Right.
30 years old, I'm still learning.
Right.
Okay.
But partner, when you get 40
Right.
and you a grown ass man,
Keep
Right.
talking.
guess what?
Keep talking.
Nigga, YouTube it.
Keep talking.
You can't. Your woman, it ain't your job to know everything
Right.
as a husband.
Right.
But if you don't know how to do it, get it done.
Right.
Like right now, I can't fix everything.
Right.
But hell, if I know one of y'all good at something, I'm calling y'all to fix
Right.
it.
Hallelujah.
It ain't gonna be on her to worry about fixing it.
Right.
So I don't get. I'm not disrespecting you. I respect
No,
you
no,
as
no,
my
no,
brother.
let's go,
I
let's
just
go.
get a lot of brothers always say that I was raised, I wasn't taught, I wasn't this. You want taught to put your dick in everything in the neighborhood.
Learn
You
how
want
to
to
do
you know how to do that.
Yeah.
So my point is.
Let's go,
So
let's
my
go.
point is. I understand what he's saying. I understand what he's saying to a certain degree.
Okay.
A lot of stuff you gotta learn on your own, and it's make it more difficult.
Okay.
Right.
But it comes to a point in your life as a grown ass man, that
doubt.
shit over with.
No doubt, no doubt.
So go ahead, boss.
Okay, let me and I want everybody to listen carefully. Because I'm explaining this. I'm explaining this
3
again.
minutes.
Okay, cool. It's not going to even take that. It's going to take probably 60 seconds or less. That was cute. When I bring up child development, I don't bring that up. No, we cool. I don't bring that up to explain adult behavior. What I bring that up to hopefully negate is the generational curse that we say we trying to break.
Right.
It makes no sense, and it is irrational for us to sit here and talk about problems and then create the same circumstances for our kids to repeat the same problems that we're trying to solve
Yeah.
today. That is irrational. So I want to make it clear. I bring up child development not to excuse adult behavior, but it's to prevent the recurrence of dysfunctional behavior that we keep recycling in the black community generation after generation after generation. What sense does it make for us to identify the problems? And like her father said, don't go to the root. We can't keep working backwards till we become 1 foot in the grave. We can't keep working at that point. We have to start talking about prevention.
That's
That's
right.
why I bring up child development. So let's not get it twisted. I'm not explaining adult behavior. What I'm trying to do is save the next generation from repeating the same mistakes that we made, because that's the definition of insanity.
Okay, that's
So we
understood.
got 2 different agendas.
Yeah.
baby.
That's cool.
Understood.
Well, I
So I'm just
misunderstood.
adding to y'all. That's
I
all.
misunderstood the. Well, I meant what I
No,
said.
cool. I
Yeah.
agree with you.
Because that's
Because
my
I'm not trying to rationalize adult behavior. Because some of us need to change.
Absolutely.
So I'm with you on that.
Right.
Absolutely.
It's a conversation
Right.
about
That's what's up.
the adults
That's what's up.
changing.
Well,
So, guys,
Told y'all it was gonna be a hot show. We
y'all,
barely made it out of this, y'all.
I hope y'all took a lot.
Joe don't call back.
Joe, we love you, Joe.
We love you, bro.
Shout out to Joe.
You get 1 call per show.
That's our number one caller.
You thought Joe was Trump, boy. I thought, goddamn, we all got paid. Woo.
I'm just
We
saying.
love you, JoJo. 305 all day, baby.
We'll talk about interracial relationships on another show.
Yes.
wow.
And I can't.
So
I can't wait for
everybody
that.
listen, since that was
So I
said,
can- since we talking about
listen,
slave
so
mentality.
let me state it now, because we always talk about of spiritual and all that other stuff. Always remember this, man. God created man and woman. Circumstances created black and white. So I don't believe in that theory about not dating other races. God created man and woman.
I don't believe in it.
Circumstances created
The
black and white.
topic tonight,
Well,
Russell.
Yeah,
versus-
Russell was. Yeah. Yeah. And listen,
For the white Cuban.
and listen.
The
But she
topic
is who she
tonight-
is.
Yeah,
It's
but
like if you
here's
black,
the
you black,
thing.
You white, you white. It ain't no.
Here's the thing. We had a great show tonight. We made it through. We thought it was barely,
Legally blind.
but it was a great show. And listen, guys, we're taking any feedback that you guys may have. You know, you can always inbox LaShawn, and she
Or
loves,
anybody else.
or anybody else for that matter. But we love feedback, so give us feedback. We're still growing and we're still learning. So if you have any feedback, we would definitely like to
Damn
hear
it,
it.
JoJo call back, goddamn.
Give us something, Joe. So
Yeah. So when we explain this slave mentality, we need a reference point.
y'all keep playing with Joe. He gonna call back for real
And
now.
y'all gotta remember now, everybody ain't African American. I really don't even believe in the term myself. But,
Well, that's another show.
That's definitely
And
another
so
show.
We want to thank. I'm pretty sure
It was a
your,
great show,
your
everybody.
closing that you're supposed to
Close
say at
us
the end
out
of
with.
each.
I was supposed to do my closing.
Are you gonna sit on
You
stage?
want me to pull up my clothes?
So before she
We got 1 minute.
So
Next,
next
week,
yeah.
we are going to go back to our 6-week series. So next week, the women will actually be talking to the men about some of the things that we need from you guys. You know, the
I know you hate to hear it, but
love and compassion and
Compassion,
understanding.
understanding. Yeah, we know that.
It'd be about a 15
Tell
minutes
us
show.
something we don't know now. We know about the love, compassion, understanding.
We'll get to that.
So you guys know that we need that,
Yes.
but don't give it.
And we're gonna listen with open. We're gonna listen with open,
Yeah.
open ears and
Please
listen.
listen this time.
Go
Because
listen.
the next week after that, the
Come
men
on.
will be telling us
What they
what
need.
they need.
Right. And y'all gonna do a good
I wanna
job.
hear
'cause
that.
The people really wait for y'all to have a do-over.
Okay, I got it.
I don't think I would be surprised.
That's time, y'all.
I think but I'm definitely eager, and in all honesty, like all jokes aside, I know we kid around a lot, but all jokes aside, I am eager. I always love to hear men talk because it's very.
I love
you
to
know,
hear men talk.
I love to
I
hear
got it.
men say what they need and what they want, and you know their vulnerabilities
Right.
and all that. I think that's an awesome
You
thing.
can learn a
you know, and I
lot,
really
yeah.
commend you four guys actually because Disco be giving us the business too. So and
Behind
the
us.
callers,
People on the G spot.
the callers that call in, you know, and ladies, I just want us to, you know, always, you know, feel like, you know, we should
Right.
commend men when they're opening
Oh,
up and
yes.
being transparent.
Right.
So I just want to thank you guys, since we're on topic, for you
Right.
guys coming out and showing a little emotion and
Right.
doing all that stuff. We, you know, we really like that. We,
Yes,
you know,
we do.
Yeah, we really do.
Do you want me to close
But-
out?
Yes, so I want to thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of the G Spot.
Thank you all.
And I'm gonna pass the mic on over to my sister, and she gonna close us out with the motto
Was.
of why we do what we do here on the G Spot.
Okay, guys. Like I said, it was a great show. I want to close us out. What we do for ourselves dies with us. What we do for others and the world remains immortal.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
I like that. I like
That's the
that.
G spot,
Yes.
baby.
I go for
It's
that.
the G Spot.
All right.
Good night,
G-Spot.
guys.
Good
Bye,
night, everyone.
guys.